Lola's bleeding heart finally catches up to her, and Mark's dad gets a murder case. It's the All Rise After Show. Stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys! So excited to be back. It's been forever, but welcome back to the All Rise After Show. Tonight we are talking about Season 1, Episode 10, Dripsy. I'm your host and tonight's moderator, Princess Carol. We're missing Lexi. She'll be back next week. She's sick, but to my left I have two beautiful ladies. Hey guys. Zuri, what's up?
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you. I feel like it's been a month, y'all.
Yeah. We're just talking about that. Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah.
It feels good to be back.
Yay, I'm happy. So we have Zuri and Shawnteairra here with us tonight. And like I said, Lexi is out sick. But tonight's episode is Dripsy. We have a lot going on. We have Lola's, her heartfelt decisions finally catching up to her. We also have Mark's dad catching a charge. We have some people getting fired and hired. And of course, we have news and gossip and predictions. So ladies, let's get into some overall thoughts. What did you guys think of tonight's episode?
It was a heavier episode, but I didn't mind it. Like, I'm happy that it's getting, like, a little more, like, it's always been emotionally triggering, but I feel like now, for some reason, maybe I just identified more with this episode, or just it wasn't as light, which surprisingly I liked.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. This episode was great for me. I like how things are kind of shaken up a little bit. We're kind of seeing something happen that's a little different. You know, with Lola kind of just being, and we'll talk more about it with the what they file? A complaint. So I'm happy to see something getting shaken a little bit.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, so I completely understood where you're coming from, Zuri. So tonight's big case was Miss Carissa Shaw. And she seemed like she has a lot going on. She kind of had a chip on her shoulder, but she felt like she had been done wrong in the past. So let's just get into it. What did you guys think of that court case and how Lola handled it?
At first, I thought she was coddling her a bit too much. Like, how do you fire my lawyer for me? Like, even if you have my best interest at heart, it seems like that wouldn't be legal. But I guess we found that it was, because it seems like untrue things don't happen on this show. Yeah. So I guess your judge can at least suggest that you fire your lawyer and then
kind of fire them for you.
Yeah, like, which I feel like I'm grateful for, but then again, I feel like if Lexi were here, that would be her point, like Lola being too nice. So that's Lexi's pedestal that she's on. But
so it should have been on Carissa to notify her lawyer.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I think for me, it's like seeing her step up and do that was kind of like a breath of fresh air. And they made me also think, too, there's a lot of people that are being convicted of things and that don't know how to speak up. I mean, you literally saw her lawyer, keep her in the blue outfit, like the jail outfit. And she had to even say, like, you know, like, can you please give her something else to wear? And then for the second thing for me was, like, when she was bringing up irrelevant things that weren't like pertain to the case, I felt like that Lola kind of had to jump in because that lawyer wasn't doing his job. So I feel like
he said, "You're an alcoholic, right?" I was like, "Whoa."
Right, like seriously, he was just all over the place. I understand that he was a divorce court lawyer, but I think it's very important that judges are aware of that because a lot of innocent people will lose cases because of that. And to come to find out, she was innocent, and if Lola didn't jump in there, she would have gone to jail.
Now, do you guys think that Fisk actually cared about Carissa? Because that was something I questioned throughout. The way that he was acting was being really reckless. I get that he's a divorce lawyer. But when Lola brought up the fact that she's wearing her prison blues, that made me question, I wonder if he even really cares about her.
I think it's just the fact that he was a divorce court lawyer. I just don't think I think that him helping her, I think he would... I want to say yes, he did care because he was talking about how he noticed since she was little. So I think he probably had good intentions. I think he just wasn't experienced with this situation because he's a divorce court lawyer.
Same. I think he was just living in his own world, especially with his ego. He walked in with a lot of ego. He knows that Lola is a new judge. He did believe that she wasn't guilty, so it's kind of like a no-brainer for him. It almost seemed like, and especially because he knew the witness was an alcoholic. So I think he thought that the case would just almost get thrown out. out, as we saw even in the beginning when he kind of walked in saying like, oh, hey, I think he said, did you read my email or whatever? He basically asked for it to be thrown out. So I don't think he ever really took the case itself serious, less than him not believing in his client.
Interesting. So go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. One other thing I wanted to mention, too, is that they did say that you could only see the eyes and the nose.
The bridge of the nose.
The bridge of the nose. And, okay, that's quite interesting, too. Like, how that would even be enough to, like, convict her. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how can you base it off of the eyes and the bridge of the nose? Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that so Fisk obviously got fired by Lola, not so much by Carissa, but Emily was brought in, and Emily was ready to fight for her from the very beginning, and she's the one that really brought the case home. So what did you guys think of Emily's performance, and what did you guys think? Do you think that she was trying to prove something? Like, what did you guys think?
Me personally, I just felt like that Emily felt bad because because she knew that she had went to jail, she did her time, and she figured she would probably turn her life around. And I think that because Emily had worked with her before, I think deep down she knew that she probably didn't do it. And then I feel like her coming in there, I think this was her feeling like, okay, something seems to be off. I want to come in and try to fix this and give her the justice that she deserved. I feel like it was unfair for Carissa to be like, well, you kind of failed me last time, and you're going to do that again, when it's like, sis, like we saw the tape. Like you on there. You were on the tape. Like there's only so much a person can do to like save you if there's evidence that you're there. And she was holding the gun with the left hand, by the way.
It was a very clear image,
right,
by the way.
It was. But I mean, I liked how Emily came in and saved her, and she was obviously found not guilty. I loved it.
What'd you think, Zuri?
Well, yeah, Emily said, I recognized the size of the chip on her shoulder. So it seemed like Emily really identified with everything that happened, especially like family kind of driving you to do things that are outside of yourself. I would have I guess it would have been corny if we would have saw like Emily's little story about why she was so connected.
Yeah, I was curious about that. After hearing that statement as well, I was like, there might be more to Emily's story than we realize, and I hope that they go into it later on.
Right. I mean, maybe it's just the feeling of being helpless. Like, I think that might be enough to tie them together.
Something that I did take away from this is how important it is to explain to your client everything that's going on, because I feel like going back to that video was very clearly her. It was unmistakably her. But I think it would have been helpful if perhaps Emily or the PD that she had after that sat down with her and explained to her the process, because clearly there were a lot of assumptions being made. She thought you could just argue your way out of anything. That was something I took away from this too. Or even when she had her conversation with Luke, and he kind of guided her but didn't give her the full truth. I just wonder how many other people are navigating the system and they're getting pieces of information, but no one's sitting down to explain the whole truth to them, you know?
Right.
So
Well, we know there's a lot of that happening.
That's true.
Because if I get arrested, I don't know anything tomorrow. Except Miranda me, or else I'll be free.
That's fair.
Look, I know to ask for a lawyer.
Yeah.
Or I know to not say anything without a lawyer present. I know that.
That's fair. But I also wonder how many, and we talk about this all the time, how many judges would actually care enough to fire your lawyer on your behalf?
Yeah. Like I said, for me, I really think that what she did was very heroic, because, again, it just makes you really, for me, I was like thinking like, man, like how many other people like lost a case, an innocent person in jail because the lawyer was bad, and the judge knew the lawyer was off but didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Because you get so many cases, you don't have the time to put that much time and energy into one case. There's so many. So it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. One thing I did want to get into is, so we had a pipe burst in the courtroom randomly. That was a bit much to me, but I guess it happens. But so Lola ended up getting paired with another JA. What did you guys think of him? How does he compare? He's not what we're used to, clearly.
Well, everyone's reaction to the pipe bursting was like a dead body fell through the ceiling. Like Lola was like shot, like gasped, and I'm like, it's a little bit of water and the ceiling, but it's
A
fine.
piece of the ceiling.
Yeah,
Not the whole thing.
So his name was Syl, and Syl, I don't know if they were getting like, what did you guys? Sorry, I was like asking a question, but that arm tap, like, what was the message?
I was a little
Yeah.
offended by that on her behalf.
Yeah, he was a little passive aggressive to me.
I don't know if the arm tap was intended to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, was that their hint at like sexual stuff in the workplace? Because I didn't feel offended by it, but I felt like they were trying to get like feel at that because I don't know. To me, it didn't feel I feel like he was invading her personal space, but
Right.
it didn't. To me, it didn't feel like offensive, or I didn't feel any type of way. I was just kind of. I don't know. Like, I feel like the writers, or maybe they were like intending for people to feel a type of way.
I don't think that was it at all. I think that they were trying. I think that he was more so trying to, not really belittle her, but just kind of like, I got this, sweetie. Tap tap, like I kind of like thing like
Yeah.
that. That's kind of how I took it. Like he was
Yeah.
just being, like I said, being a little passive aggressive.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was sexual at all. I thought it was just inappropriate and more passive aggressive, like you said. As much as I kind of liked his approach, I don't like the fact that Lola gets told what to do all the time. But at the same time, something about it just didn't seem genuine, and something about it was really annoying, which I'm quite surprised that I'm saying that.
I was laughing every time I saw him on camera, just because, like, what is happening here? The flowers,
Yeah.
like, even like the little like snarky comments, and every time he said something, he would have a smirk on his face. Like, is this guy okay?
I don't know.
I think
He's funny.
To me, it makes
He
me
was
think, are
funny.
all judge assistants like that? Because you see how Sherry's kind of set in her ways, and I feel like they're very just like, they're a little, I don't know if I want to say like territorial, but they have some similarities in a sense. So where they're both just kind of
definitely.
like really stuck in their ways.
But he's a newer judge, right? Is that what they got at when Lola?
Newer J. Yeah, they did say
Sorry,
that.
not judge, but
Maybe he's, kind of stuck in his ways already. I don't know. Maybe they are territorial.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from that. Yeah, but the flower thing was a little weird. I mean, even her giving it to her at the end, that little weak flower, and it was just like,
Little orchid.
poor orchid. Yeah.
Take this with you.
Those aren't-
in memory.
I don't like them. No, I don't want that. But no, like he was just like saying like, oh, like he like referenced like water or something like that. I was like,
Yeah, it was a bit much at times.
he was a little corny. I will say that most at the last time he saw a leak like that, a bathtub fell through. That was a slab of cement that came down. It's so funny. 'Cause I thought it was gonna be like a bathroom. I thought it was gonna be like a toilet or something. But yeah,
a little bit more than what we saw today.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a body that came through the ceiling. Like, why is everyone responding this way?
Yeah, like
It's
So dramatic.
Some episodes and some parts of some episodes could be a bit much, but we still love it regardless.
yeah.
One thing I did want to talk about too. So our favorite love affair, Emily and Luke.
LEmily.
LEmily. It shifted a little bit. I think they'll get over it, but what'd you guys think? Because, I mean, did Luke cross the line?
So for me, when I first saw them at the restaurant, I was like, oh, like everybody needs some of Luke. Where the Luke's at in LA, because
Yes,
he
indeed.
picked a nice restaurant. I mean,
He listened.
He knew she was allergic to shellfish. He had his friend who was a chef. Luke was like, I'll order for you. Had some woman singing. And then all of a sudden, she just got like she just kind of went for him. And I was just, for me, I was just kind of like, okay, like I think she went a little too hard, and I think it just kind of showed like she's very, very much invested in work, which could be good or bad, but I think she kind of took it a little far. I understand she was trying to help him and stuff, saying you can get in trouble if you give out that type of information, but I just felt like she was just way too aggressive.
I feel like she belittled him a little bit. Like, you're a bailiff. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like he could have saved himself if he would have shared that I told her this information before she had the
Fair.
opportunity to have you as a lawyer. I think that would have ended the
Yes.
whole argument.
Yeah.
Yes, I wanted him to say that. I was thinking that to myself when I saw the scene. I was like, just tell her when it happened, and then
Yeah.
it would make sense.
And then too, it kind of bothered me the fact that he even like after when he saw her the next day, it was just like, oh, like did I say I'm sorry? And she's like, oh yeah, you apologized a bunch of times. I'm thinking, why are you apologizing? Like you were just trying to be helpful. Man, it's a learning experience.
He didn't know that she was the lawyer that Carissa was talking about.
Right, but she got so defensive again, like belittling him. I just I wasn't a fan of that.
Yes.
And Mo said that he thought Emily and Luke were gonna fall out in that restaurant. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it got a little awkward.
It did get a little awkward.
Speaking of LEmily, I don't know if you guys know, but All Rise has an Instagram now.
Yes,
They posted them today, #LEmily. So I wonder if we have some people that watch us, or
think
if
so.
LEmily was just an easy thing for them to come up with. But
I don't know. I gotta.
I think we got some fans. Yeah, I think we got some fans.
I think it was us.
I'm gonna go with that. I like that. I like that. Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. I think Emily. I think she did take it a little too far, but I also wish that Luke would have stood up for himself a little bit more. He could have said, "Hey, I didn't know that you were the lawyer that she was talking about, and this happened before." And he probably should not have given out that advice. Fair enough, but
Is he walking the Lola path?
I don't know. Time will tell. But yeah, he'll learn his lesson. He's still learning. He still has a lot to grow, and I hope the best for them. I think they'll get over it.
Same. But I need him to stop over apologizing. Like, you apologize once and that's it.
Do you think that he's that way because of her past? Like, he doesn't want to like trigger her?
Or maybe because he's just so smitten.
I think that has something to do with it. Him being a little smitten.
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like if I'm dealing with a scorned person, I might be a little over apologetic if I say something that sets them off.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's tough.
Yeah, but at the beginning, you're like establishing. I'm getting really deep. You're establishing your relationship, and I think that it should be.
I agree with you.
I know you're not. I know you're saying based off of like their situation, but you're establishing something in the beginning. So I think like how you come in there is how you're like setting the tone for how the relationship's gonna be. And I think for him to kind of come in there like, I'm so sorry, like texting her over and over again because she, like kind of went off on him. Like for me, I was just like, I don't know. It was a little much.
Yeah, I agree. Hopefully this is just a one-off, that Luke won't allow this to continue and that they'll be able to move on. And, hey, if they have another argument, that he'll stand up for himself.
Right.
Because I'm going to need Luke to he's a strong man. He needs to act like it.
But apparently it wasn't an argument, though, right? It was like a disagreement.
Well, I think she would know an argument.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what she said. She's like, that wasn't a fight.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the passive-aggressive, like,
I
just
don't
say
either.
how you feel. Meh. But anyway. But anyway, Zuri, do you have a special message for our fans?
I do. Hey, guys, I just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We're here every Monday, and you guys show up for us, whether it's in the chat, on Instagram, or on Twitter with your hashtags. So if you're listening to us on the podcast or watching us on YouTube, be sure to thumbs up this video or give us a 5-star. Well, give us 5 stars and leave us a comment.
Thank you, lady.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I wanted to get into Mark. I feel so bad for him. This guy.
Goodness.
And Vic, his daddy, always up to something. First of all, do you guys think that Vic actually did it?
No.
I don't. But I think it's going to be a very, very tough case to where it's all the evidence will point to him doing it. But I don't think he did it.
Do you think that Mark is going to step down from defending the people and actually become his dad's lawyer?
Can he do that?
Well, Lola questioned it.
But he can, right? Do we know if he can? I mean, I guess he can technically be his dad's lawyer. It wouldn't be.
He would have to step down from his position.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah.
so he would have to step down. Got it.
I feel like he won't. I feel like on this show, they magically figure something out every time. So I feel like there's going to be a loophole. Cousin from Kentucky's going to show up from out of town. And
He's going to advise him from the stairwell.
something, yes. Something's going to happen. The case is going to get dropped after being suspended for 2 years. Maybe his dad going to marinate in jail for a little bit. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to step down.
Interesting. I don't know. The fact that he even considered it was a surprise to me because we've seen him have such a hard heart toward his dad throughout the entire show so far. So to me, the fact that he's even considering it is a little bit of a curveball.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Part of me wonders too. So let's talk about his case really quick. So in this case, he didn't believe the guy. He was like, dude, you say that you're a sleepwalker, but you really just broke into somebody's house and stole all their jewelry. But in the end, he ended up bringing in psychologists, and they actually showed, no, this guy really does have a problem. So I wondered if going through that situation and working with a psychologist actually opened Mark's eyes to his father's possible innocence, or I don't know. What do you guys think?
That's a good correlation because it's almost like because he thought the guy was guilty and then the guy turned out to be innocent,
Mm-hmm.
I think it made him think, well, maybe my dad's innocent. I can totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
I didn't gather that Mark thought his dad wasn't innocent. I thought he was just tired. Like, he just seemed so exhausted by the situation, especially because he put two and two together that his dad called him to the restaurant when he already knew that he was a suspect in a murder. Mark said, like, this is why you brought me here. So I feel like off that, I would have said, you could just sit in jail. Like, why didn't you just call me and tell me, you know, like, or start off with that. But anyways, I never thought that Mark thought that his dad wasn't innocent. It just seems like maybe this case might have given him more oomph to pursue his innocence than to let it be like, well, it'll just let the pieces crumble and fall where they may.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, he said from the very beginning he wasn't sure whether or not his dad did it. He knows that he's a sketchy, shady man. Yeah. But he also knows that this guy may not be a murderer, and it seemed like it.
Right, like, why are you gonna wait till 30 years to murder someone if you've been a thief for all your life?
Yeah,
fair.
But I think you bring up a good point. Like, I think with his dad kind of calling him to the restaurant, I think if he did try to tell Mark, I think that Mark probably wouldn't even want to have been involved. I feel like because of their rocky relationship, I think that he did what he felt was necessary to get Mark to meet him, and then he knew. I think it's almost like he wanted to not. I don't know if he wanted to guilt him into helping him, but maybe like putting him into a position where he felt like he had to help him because that's his dad.
I don't know. Vic is interesting. You never know with that guy. I mean, I don't think that he murdered the person either, but I also wouldn't be surprised. He's pretty shady.
Yeah, I think they're going to draw that out, though. Don't you think?
Probably.
Yeah, they didn't give us any information. Like, he's just arrested and this...
Yeah.
What's her name? Addison Farewell? Yeah, as Addison Farewell. So it's like...
Yeah.
We'll probably end up finding out next year what happened.
It'll be a couple episodes.
Right.
I think it'll be a nice little arc.
Right.
So we'll hopefully, Mark will go and get some help. We did see that he started working with a psychologist, and hopefully he'll start working with on his own personal issues as well. But the big thing for this episode, so we've seen from the get-go, Lola has been working with her heart on her sleeve for the longest time. She's always given herself to every court case, and now it may have possibly bitten her in the butt twice. So Travis, she didn't let him off the hook completely, but gave him another shot, and at the end of it, unfortunately, he went back out there and he lost his life. But then we also have an official complaint come in, and she complained that Lola is biased toward defendants. So I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I know we've been team support Lola for a long time, but she hasn't been perfect either.
I mean, Travis did serve some time, so I think it was fair that she took account in those hours. But I personally, I probably would have sent Travis to jail. I don't think that he should have got off. It didn't seem, especially when she said thank you for your cancer, I thought that she wasn't buying it. So yeah, I just feel like sometimes when they give these long drawn out I've changed speeches in the middle of the trial, did you have time to change? I guess maybe because he was in jail for a little bit already, but yeah, I wasn't. And that mom was so passionate.
She was.
Yeah, she already knew.
But it's hard, when you know a newborn baby needs their dad. So I feel that too, but I would have sent him to jail. But as far as Lola's colleagues turning on her, I feel like it was a matter of time, especially after that judge went behind her back and got that, what was it? The paper that he needed to check the house when they thought that it was a raid.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I
she
feel like
granted the search warrant.
Yeah, I feel like he was a part of that. I feel like I recognized his name from that. So I feel like it was just a matter of time. She's ruffled a few feathers, rooting for the underdog.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Shawnteairra?
I think with Travis, okay, remind me. So was this wasn't his first offense?
No.
I feel like it's tough. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that either way, it's like he could have served the 3 years and got out and
baby's gonna be 2.
Right, and then ended up right. Well, because he would have got
Keep
3
things
years.
in perspective.
Yeah, he would have got 3 years. I think either way, he still would have done it. I think if he would have went to jail and came out and his family needed money, whatever, he still would have done bad.
That's true too.
But I don't know. I think in this case, it's a judgment call. And I feel like that she's the judge. She made the decision. And not everyone's going to make the right decision. So I feel like for her to be, like, ridiculed for that, I think it's just wrong. So I feel like that she made a decision. I'm sure she feels bad letting this man off with she gave him $100 of community service. Yeah. Like, giving him that punishment and then having him, obviously, do it again, steal a car again, T-bone, and then die. I'm sure, she feels bad enough. And for them to use that as a weapon, I think it's wrong. But I don't like Maggie Palmer. She trash. So all of them are trash. But again, I like that this is happening because I feel like it's shaking us a little bit. I think that something's going to happen where she won't be able to judge for a little bit. I think we kind of need that just so it's something, we see something different. Yeah. Maybe we'll see more of her husband. Who knows?
True.
I also feel like what I liked about this episode is usually in series we get this 1 or 2 underlying stories, and then every episode we get something fresh. I feel like with this show, we were only getting LEmily and then a little bit of Mark's dad, which was kind of in and out. So I feel like now that Mark's dad is in jail and Lola actually has a case against her, I feel like now it'll get a lot more interesting because we have a storyline to follow. We're not just looking for someone to show up into the courtroom and have an episode and then just kind of try to attach ourselves to that. So yeah, I feel like it'll get more interesting going forward now that we have 2 ongoing storylines that kind of have to be present in every episode.
That's really good. I thought that she was too hard on herself as well with the Travis situation. No one had any idea that was going to be the situation. You never know. You give people a chance and they could soar or they could crash and burn. And I think she was too hard on herself, but it's also understandable because you feel like it's your fault that person's life and this person's father is gone. But at the same time, I do think it's interesting that finally her style is starting to work against her, and I kind of feel like it's introduced a level of realism to the show, because to me the fact that she always finds this great loophole and she's always able to help the defendant out, and it always ends well with the cases, to me it was kind of becoming a little unrealistic. But now you see that her colleagues are starting to turn against her. Now I feel like that's more true to real life. There are people out there that really don't care and do have a problem with people who are trying to fight the system. So I'm a fan of it in terms of the storyline, kind of like you, Zuri. So I guess we'll see what happens. Next week is the finale.
I know.
Or the season, or mid-season.
Fall finale, they said.
Fall finale. So I'm excited to go into it. But yeah, that wraps up this episode. Next up, we have news and gossip.
Yes, we do have news and gossip. So speaking of changes happening on the All Rise storyline, they're getting a new showrunner. Her name is D. Harris Lawrence. She just wrapped up a show on OWN called David Makes Man. So she's taking the place of a guy named Sol Nair. He was a showrunner, and then one day he said, "Hey guys, I want out," and they're not sure why. It didn't seem like it was an unhealthy exchange. It just seemed like he was just like, "I'm looking for something fresh and new." And so now we have a new Black woman as a showrunner, and her name is D. Harris Lawrence. And she got her start actually with Quincy Jones, which we know is a huge guy in the entertainment industry. And she was working in aerospace and took a leap under Quincy Jones' wing and started working in entertainment. So, yeah, we may see some refreshing changes now that we're like, whoa, what happened? So we didn't know you used to get this in All Rise. So.
We might finally see Lola's husband.
Right. Right. So, yeah, I'm excited for her. Congrats on your new opportunity.
Yeah, yes. I'm really curious what this other showrunner is up to, too, because it's a good show, so I kind of wonder, what are you pursuing?
Yeah, he was on CSI Miami and like other big show, so he's a big guy too. Yeah.
Wow, I could see this person who's show running the show being like from another procedural, so that makes sense.
But we know like new things start in the winter, so maybe he just got a new gig and was like, hey, I want to work with my other buddy somewhere else.
That's true. Well, I'm curious to find out more about this woman. She was in aerospace. That's really interesting.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And we got a lot more episodes, so.
Tis true. We did get the back order, so starting January 1st, I think.
Yeah.
They come back from their mid-season finale, so. But congrats to both showrunners.
Right.
All right, guys, let's get into some predictions. I know we only have one episode left before the mid-season finale, but let's just go ahead. Like, what do you think is going to happen in the rest of the season, even after that?
Okay, I think for me, because obviously we saw the preview for next week, but I think that Lola is going to be put on, I think she's going to be taken on leave. Yeah, I think she's going to be put on leave. I think we'll find out next week if Mark is going to help his dad or not. I think we'll find maybe a little bit more about that. And I think that's all I got.
No LEmily?
I was trying to think of one for them, but I don't got nothing.
Okay. Fair enough.
I feel like I agree with you. I feel like Lola's going to be put on leave, but I think Sherry is going to be the person that brings her back. Like, I think Sherry's going to do the homework on why they need Lola out there. Judge Benner, I don't know how I feel about her. It seems like, I don't want to say that she just does her job and she's detached from everyone. That's what it kind of seems like. But she's always just too perky to deliver bad news. It's like, where does she stand? And I know that she's Lola's boss, but I don't know. Like, it's always like, Judge Benner, what are you up to? Like, why do you ever always deliver bad news and good news with the same tone? Like, I feel like it's just very sketchy.
That's a good point.
That is. I didn't think about that, but she is. She's always just the same tone with everything. She literally told her about, the way she even told her about this, about the whole complaint. It was just weird. I was like, how did we get here?
I'm like, hey girl, bad news. Like, it was just like hair flips. So you heard about what happened. Like, okay. Like, you mentioned someone's death and me possibly getting fired all in the same breath with this refreshing look on your face.
Yeah, with no compassion whatsoever. Like, sorry to report. Have a nice day.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Girl, I'm checking out on LEmily.
Okay.
I just...
Do you not care, or you just don't know?
I think maybe I'm a little triggered. I might say that I'm triggered.
Okay.
Because, like, I put so much emotion into this. Episodes 1, maybe 2 through 5, and then I feel like my emotions are being yo-yoed. So I'm going to have to remove myself.
Okay.
Because I just...
From their relationship.
I just can't take it.
Right.
It's too much on my heart.
That's fair.
Zuri's on leave.
Zuri's on leave as well.
From LEmily.
I agree with you. I think that the mid-season finale is going to end with Lola going on leave, and we'll pick up in January with her coming back off of leave. And I do think that her relationship with Sherry is going to change for the better. I think they're going to have this great mutual respect, and I think Sherry's really going to fight for Lola, so I think that's going to be really cool. For Luke and Emily, I think they'll be all right. I'm also going to take a leave, but I'm taking a leave in the sense that I just believe that they're going to be fine. They're just working through some stuff, so I'm no longer like, are they, aren't they? I'm committed to that they are a thing, and they're going to be a thing. They're just figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that she even went out on a date with him, and it was very clearly a date and not a work
And they're
thing.
ready for another one.
Yeah, so I'm going to check out, but just check out being confident that all will go well. As far as Mark, I don't know if he's going to step down or not. I think he just might. The fact that he's considering it, I think he might step down, and we'll see a different side of Mark defending his daddy.
Love it.
Yeah, definitely. So much in store for next week, including Lexi's return. Hopefully she'll be feeling better. But that is it for tonight's show. Ladies, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Shawnteairra.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Zuri Shalice.
And you guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Princess CTV. I'm also on Twitter at Princess CTV as well. Thanks, guys. See you next week. Bye. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.